If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Chance Rencountre joining us on the show after picking up a huge win on Saturday night at UFC 239 over Ismail Naurdiev. The Black Eagle is here. Chance, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Huge win for you on Saturday. You were a big underdog heading into that fight. Do you hear the chatter at all when it comes to the so-called experts and betting lines and all that stuff before you fight?
I knew I was an underdog. I didn't know how much I was, though. I wasn't paying attention to that, really. I don't know. All my family got paid, so I guess that's a good thing.
Naurdiev, yeah, man, that's a huge win for you. Naurdiev is a really explosive guy, which you clearly knew heading into that fight because you seemed to sort of wait for the storm to pass and then just kind of wear him out as much as possible. Patience is a really hard thing to learn in this sport, I would imagine, especially with punches and kicks coming at you, especially standing across the octagon with a guy like that. How are you able to stay so composed and kind of take those openings as they came to you?
I mean, yeah, his kickboxing was good. We knew he'd slow down later in the rounds. Like, my coach, I worked with the best coaches in the world, and Coach Del Fio was like, man, he'll sprint and he's gonna sprint hard. So we gotta weather that storm, like you said, and then eventually with my wrestling, we knew we'd slow him down.
Like you said, you got him really tired in the fight, especially in that third round. That's when you really got to kind of see the wear on him, and you just continue to stay on top of him and keep him on the mat and really make it difficult for him. When did you start to realize in the fight how tired he was and that you could really take advantage of that?
I want to say after the first round, I kind of looked over across the cage, and I could see that he was still breathing pretty heavy, and I could really tell in the third round. After a couple scrambles, it was obvious at that point in time that we had him pretty broke. He actually said so. I can't remember when he cussed something. It was in English, but he said something. I took him down one time, and he was just more discouragement in himself, So he knew it. I don't know. He knew it was inevitable, I guess, at that point in time. I have no idea what he was thinking, of course, but it played out for sure.
So it wasn't like how Paul Daly, kind of cursed at John Fitch for keeping taking it out. It was more frustration of a curse than anything else.
And I don't know. Probably a little bit of both, for sure. I don't know how, it is what it is, and I can just improve from here for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what the future has to entail.
He started the fight out pretty strong, like you said. He had that early slam. He was landing some kicks, but you spent the majority of that round on top of him. And I know I scored that first round for you. Were you surprised that two of the judges gave him that first round when you heard the scores being read?
No, I mean, I don't think so. He did some pretty good damage. I didn't know how long I was on top of him, actually. Like, the coaches, I thought I was only on him for, I can't even remember, almost close to 3 minutes. I can't remember, honestly, but close to 3 minutes that round. And I thought I was only on him for like a minute or so. So I was like, oh, okay. So I definitely gave it to him during the fight. I wasn't even thinking I had that during the fight. But after, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can see it the other way too. It just depends on the eye of the judges, for sure. It's a scary thing.
It really is. In terms of how you got ready for this fight, obviously kind of mocking what Ismail brings to the cage is pretty difficult. Who are some of the guys that you worked with to get you ready for this one in his style?
We really didn't have anybody fly in or anything of that nature. We just worked with the guys in the gym, my teammates I've always sparred with and always worked with. So it wasn't a big change up. So because we knew my wrestling was gonna play out. Kind of a dark horse when it comes to the wrestling. I didn't do so well in college and stuff like that. So I feel like I can't compete with some of the best when it comes to wrestling. So we knew that he got tired and he would sprint, and we could get him down and stick to the game plan. It was gonna play out in my favor.
You got back-to-back wins in the octagon. You made your debut on short notice against Belal Muhammad a little over a year ago. Fight didn't go your way, but you certainly performed admirably. You opened some eyes in that fight, and you've grown from that one, picked up those back-to-back wins over a couple of really tough opponents. What would you say, outside of just actual cage time and experience in the octagon, is the biggest difference between the Chance Rencountre who debuted in the octagon last June and the one we saw in the cage on Saturday night?
It's just time. It's just being able to put in time, being able to work out, full time or train full time. So it's been been a blessing for sure, and it comes with sacrifices, of course. But at this point, I'm ready to make a couple sacrifices to see where I could take this, and because it truly does matter. I've been in this game for 7 years now. Everything's been an investment, and it feels good to finally cash some checks, and hopefully we can keep cashing them.
Speaking of cashing checks, when it comes to looking at the calendar, typically, throughout the last couple of years, with the exception of the Belal fight coming up, it's about a 6 to 7 month gap between fights for you. Is that the schedule you like to kind of stick with, or do you see yourself being a little more active, getting back there and a little bit sooner?
I would love to get back there sooner, for sure. I wanted some time out in California to train, and of course, I'm going to go back to work as soon as I fly back out. But I wanted a little bit of time to get better, work on my craft, because I knew I was way behind, with knowledge-wise. Of course, I was athletic and I could, just being a tough kid, so I knew I felt like I belonged to it that way. But I'm behind on the learning curve, and I feel like me being out there full-time is going to change the world to my game.
In terms of where you see yourself in that division right now, anybody stick out to you that you'd like to share the octagon with, or just kind of play it by ear, whatever they give you, you're fine with?
Right. I'm just gonna play it by ear. They're not gonna start saying any names or anything like that. That's not my style, anyways. But I'm ready. I do want to get back in there soon. So hopefully they find someone, or maybe someone gets. I don't hope that for anybody, but maybe a short notice fight will pop up or something like that due to injury, or who knows? Never know. This game's crazy.
It really is. Did you get a chance to sit back and watch the rest of the card after you fought?
Yeah. We went back and watched it on pay-per-view and everything like that nature. So it was cool. It was a great card. It was a great card.
I have to ask, because it was a big moment for the card and a big moment for the division. Your thoughts on Jorge Masvidal's big win on Saturday over Ben Askren, and what did you think of the flying knee, the finish? How did you react to all of that?
It was insane. That's what I was talking to my aunt this morning, and she was like, she was kind of disappointed in the Jones fight. I was like, well, because everybody got spoiled. They had, the knockout before Jorge, and then Jorge slept him in 5 seconds. Sorry. So it was the whole card was sick. I was honored. I'm honored to even be a part of it, for sure.
Yeah, it was one of those crazy cards that we'll be talking about for quite some time to come. Chance Rencountre with the big win on Saturday at UFC 239, making his presence felt, proving the doubters wrong, and getting the victory over very tough Ismail Naurdiev. Chance, before we let you go, let folks know where to find and follow you on the web, social media, any shout-outs, anything else you'd like to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
No, man, I just appreciate everybody. My followers are going up, but I definitely follow me on Instagram, BlackEagle_170. So for sure, follow me there so I can get the marketing side of it up. It's a deadly game. I got to play that one too. So I'm trying. But definitely, and I thank everybody, all my fans, everybody that has started following me. So it's definitely a humbling feeling, and I can't wait for the future.
Thank you, Chance, for the time. Great chatting with you for the first time, and congratulations on the win over the weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you.